aramba aripo haazobviswi. Tinoti mukomapo fambai rwendo rwakanaka, nyika inokuchemai.
Greetings, good people. What's up? What's happening? My name is Dr. Clarence, and welcome back to TV7 Live, where we get to give you all the hottest and top trending topics, broadcasting live and direct from the nation of Zimbabwe in Africa. Today, we saw images of acting President Dr. Constantino Chiwenga speaking at Dr. Paul Chiwenga's funeral. We see very touching pictures there. He was there in the midst of the people for funeral. Yeah, the late Dr. Paul Chiwenga, who was a writer. He wrote many books. This Dr. Paul Chiwenga. Then we see another hero is passed on. Yes, the wife of Alfred, Nikita Mangena, and we see acting President Chiwenga mourning her passing. Who was she, and what is the significance of her death? Then we go over. We see this story that is trending, exploiting the dead. What is happening at Saleh Mugabe Central Hospital and Parenyatwa Hospital? A syndicate of rogue doctors and nurses, mortuary attendants, and unregistered funeral parlors. These guys, they are running a death-for-profit scam. What are they doing there? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be covering all that and more right about now on TV7 Live. In the meantime, before we proceed with this video, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to TV7 Live if you have not yet already done so that you never miss any of our videos, because we make our videos each and every day. Big up to Gauteng gardeners watching us live right about now. Anyways, guys, without wasting any time, let us jump straight into it. Acting President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga has expressed profound sadness following the death of Miss Bekiso Mangena, the widow of the late national hero and Zipra commander, Comrade Rogers Alfred Nikita Mangena. The announcement was made in an official press statement released by the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation on Tuesday, May 18, 2025. Miss Mangena was the surviving spouse of Comrade Mangena, a towering figure in Zimbabwe's liberation struggle, who commanded the Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army, ZIPRA, the military wing of Zimbabwe African People's Union, ZAPU. Comrade Mangena was born on 16 March, the year 1943. He played a pivotal role in the fight against colonial rule during the Rhodesian Bush War, and he tragically lost his life on 28 June 1978 in a landmine explosion near Kabanga Mission in southern Zambia, leaving behind a legacy of bravery and sacrifice. At the time of his death, he was survived by his wife, Miss Mangena, their young son Lotse, born in 1976, and a daughter who was only 1 year old. In his statement, acting President Constantino Chiwenga reflected on the immense contributions that Comrade Mangena made to Zimbabwe's independence. Noting that he was a great soldier and a former commander of the Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army. It was with great sense of sadness that I learned of the passing of Miss Sikubekiso Mangena, the widow of the late national hero, former commander of the Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army, Comrade Rogers Alfred Nikita Mangena. Chiwenga said he highlighted Comrade Mangena's leadership during a critical period of the liberation struggle, particularly his role in 1977 uprising against ZAP moderates, where he led hundreds of followers in camps in Zambia to attack ZAPU's headquarters in Lusaka. Chiwenga also acknowledged the personal sacrifices of Miss Mangena, who endured significant hardship following her husband's death. Born 15 March 1950, Miss Mangena joined the liberation struggle in 1975, where she met her husband, who was fatally injured in a landmine explosion near Kabanga Mission in southern Zambia in 1978. The statement read, after her husband's death, Miss Mangena faced the challenges of raising 2 young children during the oppressive settler regime, which had brought racial segregation and suffering to the nation. The acting president noted that Miss Mangena's life was a testament to resilience and dedication to the ideals of Zimbabwe's liberation. Her contributions were recognized at the highest level of government, as evidenced by her meeting with President Emmerson Mnangagwa on March 11, 2023, alongside other widows of national heroes such as the late Herbert Chitepo. Having married a hero whose destiny was to liberate a long-suffering people of Zimbabwe, Miss Mangena remained a pillar of strength. Chiwenga added, Comrade Mangena's legacy remains a cornerstone of Zimbabwe's history. Known as a hands-on commander, he was deeply respected by his peers, including the late Dr. Joshua Nkomo, who led ZAPU and had a close relationship with Mangena. Historical accounts recall Nkomo's repeated warnings to Mangena not to travel to Kabanga, where he ultimately would meet his death, reflecting a deep bond between the two leaders. Acting President Chiwenga, who himself played a significant role in Zimbabwe's history as a ZANU militant during the Liberation War and later as a key figure in the 2017 military intervention that led to the resignation of President Robert Gabriel Mugabe, extended his condolences to the Mangena family. Now let us dive into this chilling and deeply unethical crime unfolding at the heart of Zimbabwe's healthcare system. A scheme so sinister it preys on the most vulnerable, grieving families who would have just lost their loved ones. This is a story of the death-for-profit syndicate operating at Parenyatwa and Salem Mugabe hospitals, uncovered through an undercover investigation by Checkpoint and reported by Crime Watch Zimbabwe on May 13, 2025. At the core of this crime is a closely knit syndicate involving rogue doctors, nurses, mortuary attendants, and unregistered funeral parlors. Their target: families of patients who die before being formally admitted to the hospital, often those without funeral insurance or connections to established funeral homes. And here is how the scam works. Before death, patient death before admission. A patient passes away before being officially admitted into the hospital system, often in the emergency or casualty department. False claim of a full mortuary. Mortuary staff lie to the grieving family, claiming the hospital mortuary is full and cannot accept the body. Imagine. Referral to a shady funeral parlor. The family is referred to an unregistered funeral parlor, conveniently waiting outside the hospital, often in a makeshift hearse like the one shown in the image there. Deceptive body collection. The funeral parlor collects the body, charging the family exorbitant fees between 150 US and 200 US for supposed off-site storage and preparation of the body. Now the body never leaves. In a twisted turn, the hearse drives the body back into the hospital through back entry, returning it to the same mortuary the family was told it was full. Kickbacks and profits. The funeral parlor pays under the table bribes to hospital staffs for access to the mortuary at low cost, while the family remains unaware that their loved ones never left the hospital. Paperwork cover up. All documentation is processed through the hospital, making the scam appear legitimate on paper. Now, this scheme exploits emotional vulnerability of bereaved families, turning their grief into a profit-making machine for corrupt hospital staff and unregistered funeral parlors. Now, these vans showing on the screen, which are blacked out, a common trait for vehicles used to transport bodies discreetly. The investigation by Checkpoint revealed the intricate coordination between hospital staff and these parlors exposing a systematic issue within Zimbabwe's healthcare institutions. One user commenter further corroborates the story. B. Brian shares a personal experience of being overcharged US $200 at a hospital only to face additional demands and logistical failures, hinting at the widespread nature of such practices. To understand why this crime is happening, we need to look at the broader context. Zimbabwe's healthcare system is in crisis. Newsday Zimbabwe article highlights the dire conditions at Salemu Mugabe Parinyatwa Chiwenga hospitals, lacking running water, essential drugs and basic supplies. Parinyatwa's mortuary, designed for 50 bodies, was reported to be holding 200 as far back as the year 2021. Per as Zimbabwe Situation Report, medical staff are severely underpaid, earning at around $250 a month, as noted by one ex-user. This financial strain, coupled with the weak oversight, creates fertile ground for corruption. A 2019 study from academic.oup.com on corruption in West African health system points to similar issues. Absenteeism, informal payments, and theft of supplies are rampant, often driven by poor staff welfare and weak value systems. The victims of this scam are grieving families, already reeling from the loss of a loved one. They are misled into paying high fees under false pretenses, believing their loved one is being cared for off-site, when in reality the body remains at the same hospital mortuary. This betrayal not only exploits their grief but also erodes trust in the healthcare system. The broader impact is systematic healthcare fraud. As the FBI notes in a 2024 article, this isn't a victimless crime. It drives up costs, erodes public trust, and diverts resources in Zimbabwe, where hospitals are already struggling. This scam exacerbates the crisis, leaving families financially and emotionally devastated. The death-for-profit syndicate at Parinyatwa and Salemu Mugabe Central Hospitals is a stark reminder of how corruption can infiltrate even the most sacred of spaces. Hospitals meant to heal and care for the dead with dignity. This crime in the shadows thrives in the shadows of a broken system where underpaid staff and systematic neglect create opportunities for exploitation. To stop this, we need stronger oversight, better funding for healthcare, and accountability for those involved. Most importantly, we must protect the vulnerable and ensure that no family grief becomes a source of profit for the corrupt. In other stories, we see this. The parking marshals have gone more than serious. Now they are clamping even automobiles Thank you very much for future Mutune. Noted that one there. Thank you very much for that input.
Nemuzokwadi ndinoda kubatsira vaya vanononoka kubata nevaya vanofurira vamwe kuti vasabata zvakanaka. Kufurira kana kusafurira, kunonoka kubata kana kusanonoka kubata. Tiri kuenda kugore ra2030 vamunangagwa vari mutungamiri wenyika ino. Tinosvika navo.
And finally, before I sign out, we see Minister Gare criticizes expelled ZANU-PF members amidst the political tensions in the nation of Zimbabwe. In a recent public address, Daniel Gare, Zimbabwe's Minister of National Housing and Social Amenities, sharply criticized Blessed Geza, a former ZANU-PF Central Committee member who was expelled after calling for President Emerson Mnangagwa's resignation. The speech, captured in a video, underscores the escalating political tensions within the ruling party and in the nation. Geza's expulsion came after he publicly demanded Mnangagwa's resignation, a move that ZANU-PF Secretary for Legal Affairs Patrick Shinamasa described as an attack on the party leadership and a violation of the party's constitution. This incident is part of a broader wave of dissent within the ruling party of ZANU-PF, with some members urging the masses to protest. That would be March 31, 2025. These protests would be largely subdued due to fears of government reprisals. They highlight the fragile political climate in Zimbabwe. Gare remarks come at a time Zimbabwe is grappling with significant economic and social challenges. The country has been plagued by hyperinflation, with the Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce estimating that 80% of jobs are in the informal sector, characterized by low and little security. Additionally, corruption allegations against Mnangagwa's administration have further eroded public trust. The political unrest is compounded by severe issues within Zimbabwe's healthcare system. A recent petition signed by over 15,000 people has called for improvements as hospitals face dire shortages of medical supplies and personnel. Many healthcare professionals have immigrated due to poor working conditions and safety concerns, leaving the system in a critical state. This exodus has been exacerbated by the volatile political situation, with professionals fearing for their personal security. Gare's criticism of Geza is seen by some as an attempt to consolidate support for Mnangagwa's leadership amidst these challenges. However, the broader context of public discontent and economic hardship suggest that the government's effort to maintain control may face significant resistance. As Zimbabwe navigates these turbulent times, the actions and rhetoric of its leaders will continue to be closely watched by both domestic and international players.